this is Matt Hay with EntertainmentBuddha.com bringing you a special edition of our Buddhacast. That's right, folks. We are going to be discussing, recapping, bitching, moaning, whatever you want about last week's E3 extravaganza. I was actually on hand at the show in LA, so I got to check out most of the press conferences, got to meet with some great publishers and developers. So I'm going to give you kind of an inside insight while the rest of my team kind of chimes in with what they saw from the home base, checking out all the trailers, interviews, and assets that I couldn't see while I was there. Because little do you know, this might be an electronics expo, but almost zero electronics work at the expo because there's so many freaking people there trying to use the cell towers and Wi-Fi. So you kind of have to disconnect for the week while you're at E3, which is very odd. So thanks to Ray for kind of covering me while I was out there during that outage.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
So this is going to be EB's E3 recap part 1, the big three. And for those of you that don't know, the big three consist of Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Microsoft being the newest one to that group of long-standing game makers, publishers, developers. So we're going to kind of start with those guys and move on from there. So first off, again, I'm Matt. We have our man from the UK, Tim Benson's.
What's up?
We've got my man from Westchester, the super duper pro skater extraordinaire, Mac Daddy, McFlip Twist 180, Wu-Tang Clam, a.k.a. Raymond, a.k.a. Ray, a.k.a. The Clam, Ray Pareca.
Oh, we're still going with the titles.
Yeah,
all right.
You're a legend.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you are a legend of names.
Just call me Khaleesi.
And then finally...
No, too many AKAs. Let's not go there.
And speaking of Khaleesi's, we have our lone lady host down there in Florida. We got Anna. How you doing, Anna?
I'm good. Happy to be back.
Are you off this week, Anna?
Well, I was just off today.
Oh, took the day off.
I was enjoying the Florida sun.
Hey, it's actually sunny up here in Ohio finally, so that's nice.
Do you know what? Newsflash, it's been sunny in England. Fucking
Whoa.
What?
In England. Can you
By
believe
the Queen's chin hair.
Straight up.
All right. Well, yeah, good old, cheery old England. Speaking of England, I mean, there's a lot of developers from the UK. I mean, kind of off topic, but I was surprised how many developers I met from the UK.
Taking over, mate. We're taking over.
Yeah, this guy from Sony, I'm going to do an interview with him. He's the creative director on Entwined with the college kids. Dominic Robilliard used to be a LucasArts guy. He's got a good story to tell, so I got an interview booked with him, but a fine old chap from jolly old England, as we like to say. Okay, so starting off with the big three, we're just going to kind of go in order of their press conferences. So as every year, Microsoft kicks things off live from the Galen Center, which is right on USC's campus. So I was in attendance. Yes, I was wearing one of those electronic bracelets that lit up according to the trailers and dubstep music playing. And I still have it, and I'm still looking at it. And yes, it's still annoying. But anyways, so Microsoft kicked off E3 essentially with their press conference. And true to their word, they pretty much stuck to games only. There was no talk about the Kinect, no talk about apps, no talk about TV. It was just games. Now, a lot of the games may not be coming out to 2015, just like Sony, but there is an impressive slate of games from Microsoft coming. So I guess just to kind of start things off, for those of you that watch the presser, at least Anna and Ray, what was the most impressive thing that you saw, I guess?
Anna, take it away.
Well, for me, it was all about games. There was nothing about watch your TV on the console or look at what entertainment thing we're doing with this. It was all about games. I was very, very excited. I was happy to see some co-op footage for Assassin's Creed Unity. I was very happy to see some more Call of Duty Advanced Warfare footage because it's shaping up to be a really cool looking game.
Yeah, let's zero in on that real quick because Call of Duty obviously has that reputation where it's just retread bullshit, same game every year. And I have to say, after seeing the trailer at Microsoft's deal and then actually getting some behind the scenes with Activision. That game, I mean, this could be the best Call of Duty yet. I mean, I really love what they're doing with the future tech, going Predator, Invisible, and the visual fidelity is disgusting. I mean, and really that theme, if you've been reading my previews, and I know Ray's been kind of helping me ghostwrite some of these, this E3 was the first time where you can really tell that developers are finally designing games for the new consoles because everything I saw looked fantastic. I mean, it's really hard to pick the best looking game, but the visuals are definitely amped up, especially in Advanced Warfare. So I'm glad you mentioned that because I know the franchise gets this BS behind it, but I mean, if it sells 500 million every year, people, they're going to keep making them. So
I think what I'm liking about the game, or what I'm seeing about the game, is that it just looks like it's breathing fresh air into the franchise. It looks like they're just going in a different direction, which is probably what it needs at this point because everything has kind of been the same thing.
Right.
So to speak.
I haven't really kept up with Call of Duty at all, simply because I got bored of the franchise after playing Modern Warfare 2. But if didn't they go in a new direction? Wasn't the last not Ghosts, but the one before it? Wasn't it like a futuristic setting?
Not as futuristic as what this is going to be.
Oh, right. Okay.
I mean, this Benson, we're talking like they're wearing mech suits like Edge of Tomorrow.
So are they making Titanfall?
No, they're exoskeletons.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not mechs. They're more exoskeletons.
Yeah.
I guess closer to Elysium if you've seen that movie.
Yeah, more like a suit.
I've seen Elysium.
Yeah. They can go completely Predator, Invisible, grenades now. You have one grenade and you can electronically switch what it does. I mean, some you just throw up and it will heat seek on someone's. Then you have concussion, typical frag grenades. It just looks visually awesome, but I think the gameplay is going to be there. And I'm always up for a good Call of Duty campaign anyways.
And again, you can't go wrong with Kevin Spacey. Like, the man is really good.
And the opening cinematic where you get your arm chopped off trying to save your buddy. That kind of sucks you into the world a little bit.
That was intense watching that. I'm like, okay, so I see how they're starting it. All right.
Yeah, see,
they're going big
I don't know
this
how
time.
I feel about using Kevin Spacey.
Fair
enough using the voice of Kevin Spacey, but to actually model the guy in game, it's like, oh, fuck off, please. Come on.
I'm with you on that. I think that's one step too many.
Yeah, definitely. Even if it's just a cameo.
Well, guys, I mean, games are now approaching the cinematic stylings of a movie. So if Kevin Spacey can play roles in movies, why can't he play a role in the video game?
I mean,
because you don't need real life motion capped real life actor type people. It's a game. Right, let's keep them about games.
Here's a good example. We'll take take Metal Gear Solid 5 or even Ground Zeroes. Yep. Now, I'm personally a big fan of the original voice for Solid, and that's a guy called David Hayter, who's pretty much done all the Metal Gear Solids apart from Ground Zeroes. And they used Kiefer Sutherland. And they used Kiefer Sutherland because of the tech to render facial expressions. They thought that Kiefer Sutherland would be a better fit, but they didn't use his face because obviously, he just lent his voice and his talents of him acting out certain scenes or, having he had all these things stuck all over his face so it could record every tiny minute detail of all the muscles in his face. And that's why they chose him. And personally, like I said, I was a little bit annoyed because I like David Hayter, but when you see the difference that it makes, obviously you can see why they went that way. And if Call of Duty are going to use Kevin Spacey, just as is, I just think, no, you know what I mean? I want there to be a difference. I play games. I don't. I watch. Yeah,
I guess I look at it. I look at it as films. I mean, games they're either the top or the second entertainment industry out there.
I think they're the top.
Right?
Top.
And to me, it's another medium that actors are going to be able to act in now, just with the way the visuals are becoming so lifelike. So,
see, my stance with it, and I understand that it comes down to, I think it's just going to be a way for bigger publishers to put out games that are shitty, but you're going to have a big actor attached to it. Like,
no, I totally
Beyond Two Souls. Let's go back to that one. You have Ellen Page essentially playing Ellen Page in it. Yep. And it's got, great
it was a good
motion capture, et cetera.
You and I disagree on this
game.
It's a good game.
To me,
all right, moving on then.
Well, that's why they're called opinions, right? Everyone has one, and they all stink.
It's totally subjective. But I just think, as a direction for the industry to be going in, it's not a great one. Not for me personally. It's not a great one. I would much.
Well, get used to it, fellas, because cash rules everything, and bringing celebrities into a game's going to sell more games. Guess what? You're going to see more celebs in games.
It might sell
cash
more games.
Everything
it won't make
except
them
indie.
Games.
Yeah, except indie until they get bought by a huge studio. So, anyways, so that's Call of Duty. That was a big,
that was a
big
Call
deal
of Duty tangent.
Big deal at Microsoft. Some of the other stuff they showed off.
Scalebound.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's talk about Scalebound. I don't know if any of you guys checked out that or saw that trailer, but man, is it a weird looking, great game from Platinum.
Yeah, I was going to say that looks like it's right up your alley because you're into that Japanese, really whacked out.
The weirder it can be, the better. I mean, but the two big things for me from Microsoft in general, Scalebound, I thought that looked so bizarrely awesome. And of course, D4, which didn't get a lot of attention at E3 this year, but anything Swery does, I'm down for. And then Scalebound just looked so absurd. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
what's the one with the emo looking character that
just
fights
some
dragons
random J-pop looking dude walking through a forest with his Beats by Dre headphones on and just whipping out a giant sword to fight dragons and what have you. And I guess he has a dragon in it. So I don't know. It's the direction I like my games to be at. Just make them weird and fun and different than gritty realist kind of thing.
I've got another one I think Raymond will love, and that's Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah, that was my other one I was going to bring up. That game looked super cool.
Yeah, I had a closed door meeting with them, so we got to talk to the two creative directors and great dudes. Tomas, I believe he's from Germany, but these guys, they told us that they cried after their game being shown off on stage because they worked on this game for 4 years and weren't allowed to tell anyone. So they're like, oh, I'm working on a product, blah 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 blah. So when it finally released to the world and they saw everyone's reaction, they were emotionally touched by it. But what I took from that interview was that they're like, hey, yeah, it looks great, it's cute, blah blah blah. But the lead director, Thomas, he said, listen, I don't want you to really focus on the visuals. I want everyone to understand how much time we put into the platforming and the controls and just the gameplay. So this game, they kind of equated it to Dark Souls, if you will, as far as with or Super Meat Boy as the difficulty can get on some of the platforming sections. So that's why I think Ray will love it because I know he's a big platforming guy. And
yeah, that's I think it's Moon Studios are the team that's doing it. And I read your notes from your preview or your time with it at E3, and I was so ecstatic to read that line in your notes where it said basically, so and so from the studio said, yes, this people are going to be drawn to the visuals, but that's not what it's about. The gameplay. Yeah,
he really probably said it 10 times.
So great.
I mean, you could tell he wanted that point to be heard because. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It is a very cute looking game, and I think it's going to be an emotional game. They really couldn't get into that whole because I asked him, I was like, so during that trailer, what was that big black guy with the white face? How did he play in? Is that his buddy or did he die? And he's like, we can't tell you, but I think it's going to be a good one, and it's going to be one of those challenging platformers. They have a system where you can basically drop a save anywhere because you're going to get your ass kicked and just keep dying, so you can actually strategically create save points to save yourself from biting your arm or smashing a controller, which is always good for me.
Yeah, something you need, certainly.
Always good for me. What else we have from Microsoft? Well, I mean, I can talk about some of the ID at Xbox stuff, which I think is what people should really be excited about with Xbox.
One that caught my attention from Microsoft was Phantom Dust. Just the
go ahead and let it rip, Anna, because that is one I did not get to look at.
I mean, it was just people, or a very empty city, and there's a woman and there's a man, and they see each other, and then all of a sudden they've got these powers coming out from their hand, and they collide, and that's it. And then it's Phantom Dust. And
isn't that like a reboot of a
It's
franchise?
a reboot of an original Xbox game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, that looks cool. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know anything about it, but caught my attention.
Yeah, the original. I've never played the original Phantom Dust, but I'm fairly familiar with it. But it's one of those generational cult classics. There's like kind of card-based gameplay, if that makes sense, like action, role-playing, strategy. It's like a super weird game in a lot of ways, but seeing Microsoft being willing to reboot it for the Xbox One, I think shares some faith in thinking kind of outside your traditional game design box, which, just like you said, I saw that trailer, I was like, holy crap, is that it? Phantom Dust, what?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It looks cool. And then the other one was when they did the trailer for Tomb Raider, but it's Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh my God, that was, my nipples got hard. That was a fantastic cinematic trailer for a video game.
It's a really good trailer. My only problem is Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm not.
Sounds like it gave Matt a rise.
I'm not feeling the title.
In my shorts. But no, the title might be weird. I kind of get it because the first game she became the Tomb Raider.
Right. Like she had to.
In the middle act, now she's embracing the role. I just love how they shot the trailer, because at first you're like, what is this?
Right.
And then you eventually like, oh shit, that's Laura in the hood. I know it. And when it revealed her, everyone was like, yeah. So I obviously jacked for that game because I thought Crystal Dynamics did a fantastic job on the reboot from, what was that, year 2012.
2 years maybe now?
2012.
Yeah.
I think the third one's going to be called the Tomb Raider Night, right?
Well, I just hope there's some fucking tombs to raid. That's what I'm gonna
Revenge
say.
of the Tomb Raider Sith. Some other ones, some ID at Xbox. Now, these are like the indies that Microsoft owns. Nero. I don't know if you guys have heard of Nero.
I saw it briefly, but I was covering 500 other trailer-related things at that time.
Here's a shame where, at these events like E3, where sometimes language barriers come into effect, because the team that did Nero, obviously they're not from the U.S. They don't really speak English. It's really tough to figure out what they were saying about their game, but I can tell you Nero looked really great. It has a visual similarity to the world of Avatar, like that forest with the neon trees and
with
shit
all the
like
colors
that.
and popping.
Yeah, it's basically like it's a first-person puzzle game, and you have like this orb that you use to solve puzzles. And like I said, I can't really go into it because I don't know a ton about it, but it looked interesting. And then the other one that I think looks really cool, but again, the guy was from Germany, I believe, and it was real thick accent. It's called Get Even by Farm 51, and basically, he explained it as it's almost like the butterfly effect, where you come upon scenes, and by using your camera, you can kind of roll back in time and either choose to alter the scene or not. And based on your decisions, obviously the butterfly effect will ripple through time and could ultimately change the scenario that you came upon in the present. And
Is that a Microsoft exclusive?
I believe all these ID at Xbox are Microsoft only.
I swear there had to have been I don't know, way back when I saw a trailer for Get Even coming from like Sony's side of the camp, but I very well could be wrong. It's just
I don't know. I mean, these are previews. Ray, eventually we'll get out. I have notes on those to look over, but just my first look at it, it looked interesting. It also has dynamic multiplayer, so I could be playing a mission, going through, taking pictures, shooting shit, and then bad guys could show up, and those bad guys could either be AI or other humans, and you'll never know. So I thought that was kind of neat. To where you could just end up playing, you're sitting there, I'm wasting all these retarded NPCs, and all of a sudden you come across a dude that just keeps kicking your ass. That may be a real human. So I kind of like that integration.
It looks like it's PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, by the way.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, we'll be multi-plat with that. That's cool.
Yeah, so Nero and Get Even, the other Microsoft stuff, Sunset Overdrive. What'd you guys think now that you got to see a little bit more?
I'm still stoked for this game. I'm ready. I want to play.
Yeah, the guys were cool as hell, though. I mean, the two directors that were there to give the presentation.
I must admit, I'm not too bothered by it anymore. I don't know why. It's just the kind of excitement. I mean, I didn't have much excitement, but what I did is kind of dissipated now. I don't know why. I just didn't grab me.
I don't want to say
grab me like.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm still kind of excited for it, but after seeing it in action, I kind of went like, well, all right. So what exactly do you do besides ride rails around this vibrant city that's full of mutated aliens that drank an energy drink that turned them into these mutated monsters? It really just looked. They said there's a campaign and a story, but I didn't get that out of the demo. I'm still obviously going to check it out.
Yeah,
it's neat. I mean, to me, it's still kind of unique looking, especially the visual style. I mean, it's kind of like a hybrid of really high end CGI movie and Pixar type of animation. Plus, the world's just fucking wonked out. I mean, it's like I said, the premise is they literally corporations took over the world, and this one corporation, they pretty much own everything. They make this new energy drink that doesn't get any FDA testing, and people start drinking it on launch night, and they all turn into mutants. And there you go. So that's Sunset Overdrive for you. What else we have from Microsoft, people? Anything? Fable Legends.
Yeah, Fable Legends.
So what did you guys think about Fable Legends? Did you have any idea that it was 4v1 like Evolve by watching the trailer?
Not really, because I've never played any of the Fables. So
you're not missing much.
Well, the Fables have traditionally been third-person RPG.
Fable is one of these games that when you first hear about it, and specifically when it was under the wing of Peter Molyneux.
Oh, the first one, he made it out to be the next coming of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and the thing is, I believed him. I must admit, I believed Molyneux because he'd made such great games beforehand. So I had faith in him, but what he delivered was just so tame. The original Fable, I had such high expectations for him when I finally got it in my hands and started playing it. You have that initial excitement, don't you? You play
Chicken
a game
Chaser,
and you really enjoy what you're seeing, and then you start to realise actually there's not much to this. And then the second one came out, supposed to righting all the wrongs, and that was just as bad. The co-op in it was terrible in number 2. Absolutely.
Wait, you didn't like following that little light orb around?
It wasn't at the co-op. It was co-op from like 1998 because
you were tied. You were basically tied to an invisible string to each other.
Exactly. Yeah, it was tether. There's a tether. I was just like, what the?
And we'll get into it later, but the multiplayer in Unity just blows my mind, technically at least. But we'll save that for the next podcast. Okay, so anyway, Fable Legends, those of you that don't really know what it is, it's not your daddy's Fable. It basically takes place way before Fable 1. This is back when the guilds of heroes first being built, and heroes still kind of dominate the land of Albion. But what I had no clue is that it is Evolve. There's 4 human players they basically have classes. And then there's someone they call the villain, who is the director on the missions. They use a top-down view, and they kind of shut gates to trap players, or they'll set up enemies here or there, and that's the game. So it's not a true Fable RPG like some of you may have guessed. It's more or less pick a mission. You got 4 humans. They take on another human. See who wins. Go to the next mission. Now, there's supposed to be a cohesive tale throughout this, but if anything, it's a unique take on the Fable franchise.
Well, for me, I would say that if it was anything other than Fable, if it was anything other than Fable, I would be interested. And lo and behold, like you said, there's Evolve. So straight away, if I had to choose, between multiplayer games, between that and Evolve, I know where I'm going, and it wouldn't be Fable.
I played both, and I definitely take Evolve over Fable Legends, but I'm not going to write Fable Legends off quite yet, so I'll keep it on the radar.
And speaking of Evolve, the Kraken, how freaking awesome is that new monster?
The first time I saw it, and I think everyone in here besides Ray probably has seen Edge of Tomorrow, but I thought it looked like the alpha mimic. You know, the blue ones, the big ones?
Yeah, I see that.
Or like, would you call it, Jim? The Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
I'm trying to think, what else did Microsoft show us? Or do we kind of hit all the high notes? I think we got the high notes.
They did some...
Oh, Forza Horizon.
Yeah, that was it.
Forza Horizon 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say Forza, you got to say Tsa. It's got to have the T.
Yeah, and then they showed off a Division gameplay, but we'll save that for Ubisoft.
So did everyone else.
Is it really pronounced? No, sorry, is it really pronounced Forza, not Forza?
Yeah, it's Forza.
Oh, so there's an invisible T.
Forza. Yeah.
It's one of those, you say tomato, I say tomato.
Okay.
Deals.
No, it actually is Forza. I think it's an Italian word.
Okay.
Well, I'll just Americanize it and just say Forza.
Forza.
All right, so I think we hit Mike. Oh, shite. How could we forget about this?
What?
The freaking Master Chief Collection.
Well, I was going to touch on that, but I didn't want to set Benson's off on a tangent.
I was about to say, the reason why you forgot about it. Yeah, there you go. You've answered your own question.
Well, I'm really excited because, first of all, it's $60 and you get 4 games for the Xbox One and you get beta for Halo 5.
Yeah.
And the TV show.
The TV show.
I would actually buy this game. You might be surprised. Yeah, of course I would.
The value is obscene.
I mean, like I said, I got bored with Halo after ODST. Now in that pack, you have got Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I played all of them and I enjoyed all of them, but I'm happy to leave it at 4 Halos and forget about ODST and all the other shit that came with it.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Like ODST and Reach.
I would buy it just so that I could play Halo 2 all over again.
Yeah, and Halo 2 multiplayer coming back.
Yeah, and all the maps and that. Yeah.
Oh my god,
you get 100
excited.
maps, 100 maps total, 4,000 achievement points.
Yes.
The 4 games, the beta to Halo 5 and the Ridley Scott live action series.
I think it's incredibly good value. You'd be an idiot not to pick that up.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get the revamped Halo 1 that came out for the 360. Then you're going to get Halo 2, all reskinned. They redid most of the cinematics. It looks freaking fantastic. And now that it's on the Xbox One, you can do that dynamic switch where with Combat Evolved Anniversary, you could actually say, okay, show me what this would have looked like back in the day. And it would actually take time to switch there. Now you can literally be like, show me. It's like, whoop, whoop. You can just switch in and out of Halo 2 crap, Halo 2 next gen.
I think it's a cool feature. It's almost like listening to developer commentary, isn't it? But when you're
and they didn't change any of the code. None of the code has changed in any of the games. It's all the legit code. So Halo 2 will play like Halo 2. They just up the visuals a bit.
Yeah,
so.
I'd do that. I would take that Halo collection over Halo 5 any day of the week because, like I said, I'm done with the Halo as a franchise, but I still would play the original games because I enjoyed them and I still think they're worthy of playing, particularly 1 and 2. 3 was great. 3 was a blast in co-op play, 4 people bombing around a map. That was always good fun.
Yeah.
But I think it was starting to lose its appeal at that point.
I really loved 4. I love where the story is headed, and I think 5 is only going to build on that. Now with this Agent Carter guy who somehow knows who Master Chief is, I'm interested to see like how all that plays out. So
yeah, and I'm
really like
sure
the story. I got to talk
to
the granddaddy of Halo, Frank O'Connor, great gentleman, I believe from the UK as well.
They always are.
So I'm pumped for that one. Again, the value is worth getting alone. Even if you don't like the games, you're
just for $60
you get
alone.
4,000 achievement points. I also like that you can be like, I want to play a mix-up campaign. You can actually create a playlist of levels from all 4 games and play through it that way.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Or you could be like, in Halo 1, I only want to play driving missions. So you would just get missions that involve vehicles. And
They're
you
also
can create those playlists.
extending the Forge, aren't they, to encompass all the Halo 1 and 2 stuff, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Master Chief Halo fans' wet dream in a box is what we're getting here. So, but I'm glad I didn't forget about that. So I think we can kind of put Microsoft to bed now. Let's move over to Sony, who last year obviously killed it at E3, which led to the PS4 selling a jillion units within 2 months. So, Sony show, they always go last, and it's very strategic because what they do is they herd us all into this closed off parking lot, and they bring in bartenders and beer and liquor and food trucks, and they say, hey, for 2 hours, just kind of have a good time on us, then we'll all go in and
So
talk about video
they butter
games.
you up.
Yeah, they get everyone lubed up and full and fat and dumb and just, sitting there
For
relaxed.
penetration.
I was gonna say lubed up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready for that
booze,
corporate dick.
We had some guys sitting behind us that they must have worked for Microsoft. 'Cause the entire show, they were just sitting there going, "That's stupid. This is bullshit." Blah,
Did you
blah,
not
blah.
wear
I literally
your,
just want to turn around and be like, "Dude, what?"
I was about to say, did you not feel like
why are
wearing
you
your
here?
Xbox wristband?
No, I had to wear my Sony wristband to that one.
Oh, right, I see. But it didn't light up, no?
Theirs was like a stretchy band that just said "Greatness awaits" in 2015.
Right. I thought greatness
Wah, wah.
was
But anyways,
supposed to be
I like
2014.
Well, none of their games are coming out.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Next year is a really good year for gaming, just as a little
Oh, yeah.
Next year is going to be
2015,
amazing.
yeah, for both of them. I mean, Microsoft, a fair amount of their games are 2015 too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Sony, some of the big stuff at Sony. I'm going to let Ray talk about the one because I know he's probably in love with it. Actually, there's at least 2, Ray, right, that are right up
But he's
your
got about
alley.
4 pages.
Yeah,
Unless,
Why don't you kick it off with Blood-Borne?
there we go.
yeah. Jesus, what's there to say other than holy shit? I'm so excited. Yeah. So during Sony's press event, they're showing their trailers and stuff, and then all of a sudden it cuts to this great gothic looking intro with the a thing and blood drops into it, and you're saying, what the hell is this? Is this Project Beast? And then anyway, the trailer plays and they reveal it's actually called Blood-Borne, which is very cool. And I guess From Software, they've been working on it since Artorias of the Abyss DLC for Dark Souls, which came out, pretty decent amount of time back. So as far as I know, the game's pretty far along. I think March 2015 is the tentative title or release right now. So I don't know, for Matt, I know you haven't played any of the Souls games, and Anna, you've started Dark Souls, but it looks like they're trying to keep that core feeling, but with some faster kind of combat or emphasis on fighting more enemies at once.
I think the best thing for the kind of Souls games is to break away from the Souls, lore and universe.
I 100% agree. Yeah, this is probably the best thing to happen to that series.
So this is like expanded universe content for that franchise.
No,
it's going to be unrelated completely.
Yeah.
They're just using the similar or their patented formula.
Yeah, so they're taking the mechanics of the Dark Souls and Demon Souls games and putting them into a new universe with new characters, new lore. And I think it's the original, the guy who worked on the Souls games.
Yes.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but
it'll come to me in a second.
Ichi Suzuki.
Is that the guy?
No, I just made it up.
All right, okay.
It sounded Japanese.
Sounds like
on
a
a
legit
side
name.
note, I actually thought when Miyazaki.
See, I was close, right?
When
Hidetaka Miyazaki.
When Shuhei Yoshida announced it, I thought he actually said Blood-Borne, but I had a completely different game in my head altogether. But.
No, they call that one Let It Die.
Yeah, great segue. Let's move right into that, Ray, because that's from your boy Suda, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? I don't really know how I feel about it anymore.
What is it? I mean, all I saw was like just people getting their fucking brains bashed out, and it was all. I mean, I loved it. I was like, what the hell is this? It looks very demonic, very gory, very brutal.
coming into 2014, we did a series of posts. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like top X, PlayStation 4 exclusives and Xbox 2 by extension. But one of the ones I was most excited for was this game called Lily Bergamo, and it was this super bright, colorful, Suda game. But turns out now that Let It Die is actually what became of Lily Bergamo. So it's kind of a stark shift in tone and theme, but it looks like Let It Die is interesting. It's going to be free to play, and it looks like it has more traditional role-playing combat, but you're also playing, I think you're a zombie or you're dead or near death, but you're like bashing dudes in their skulls in for their clothes and walking around, half naked with a mace hitting shit, which I don't know.
I love Japanese
It's about
developers.
as cool as an idea as it gets for me. Yeah, that's
they
brilliant.
are so fucking far out. It's unbelievable. I mean, the shit they come up with is just unreal.
Yeah, and that is why a lot of times when you get frustrated with playing, your Call of Duty each year, you just say, what is the weirdest game from out west or east I can get right now?
Yeah, and you know who to call, Raymond Pareca at Wu-Tang Clan. Hit him up. So what else we have? I know a big one, at least the Tim Benson's is interested in, and a lot of people were, but unfortunately it was absent from the show floor, and that's No Man's Sky.
I knew he was going to say that. What a game that's going to... Well, I say game, there's not much game there. That's the thing. It's everything's procedurally generated, and I've watched a lot of developer videos since actually... Because I'd seen it before when it was announced at, I think, PAX... earlier this year, and I totally forgot about it until I see it at the Sony conference, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about you. So I went on and did some more research about it, trying to find out when it's going to get released, etc., etc. And the more I found out about it, the more I started to think, well, yeah, this is going to be a great experience, but is it going to be a great game? Because the guy is very cagey about discussing what's actually involved in the game. He seems very adamant as to turn around and say, there isn't an objective. You don't go off and, follow a quest.
No, you're dead on, because I got to speak to a couple of industry insiders. The people I met this week or last week was ridiculous. But I mean, I'm talking this guy Turbo. I mean, he literally worked on the TurboGrafx 16, and he's a legend in the industry. I mean, he knows everybody. But so he was talking to some people that got to see it, and they said exactly what you said. They're like, yeah, it looks fantastic, but there's really nothing for you to do besides look at shit.
I think,
and go to another world and look at shit.
The whole point behind it is exploration, which is fine. It's fine, but as long as the world,
you still need an objective at least.
As long as the world and as long as the vegetation and the creatures in that world are interesting enough, and I know the guy is saying that yes, it uses procedural generation to make all these wonderful things. It's like, yeah, but if your algorithm for your generation doesn't have enough variety, it's going to get very boring very quickly if all the worlds are just the same but slightly different colors. And all
the one they started with reminded me of something out of Willy Wonka. Purple grass and orange mountains.
I think it's an interesting idea. And I think because I know it's coming to PS4 and PC, or at least they're trying to get it onto the PC, and I'm sure it will come to PC. If it comes to the PC and has modding support, I think it will be like Minecraft. It will be like a game that will just be taken by the community and turned into whatever they want, they would like that experience to be. And it's a shame that there isn't that kind of thing on consoles, but obviously for many reasons that will never happen. There won't be any kind of mod support, but I think...
Yeah, it would make a good game for the Morpheus.
Oh, yeah. Well, any kind of space exploration flight game, and as you pointed out in your hands-on impressions.
I'll touch on the Morpheus.
Yeah, I mean that No Man's Sky, Eve, and Elite Dangerous are just built for as actual games, not just experiences, but as actual games. They are built for Morpheus Oculus Rift. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Next game that was intriguing, and it's actually out now. And what's so fascinating about this game is that it was designed by college interns that Sony ended up hiring, and that's Entwined. I don't know. Did any of you download it for the PS4 and try it out? Okay, I played it, and it requires you to use both joysticks in like opposing directions. And let me tell you how
Is it like
much
flowers?
of a mind fuck that is.
It looked like nonsensical.
Not really.
bollocks, really.
Yeah, I mean, you have these two little fly things. You know, one's a fish and one's a bird, and they were like lovers in another life or whatever. So you control the bird with the left stick and the fish with the left, bird with the right. And then you just fly around, but you got to fly through these rings, and they're at different angles and sides. So you got to tell your brain, okay, right thumb, you move this way precisely. Left thumb, you go this way.
So is it like playing Pilot Wings but split screen?
Oh, dude, I haven't played Pilot Wings in years. All I know is that
you have to have really good coordination to be able to succeed in this game. That's what it sounds like, and I'm passing because my coordination's not going to be good.
just great. I mean, there's really no game to test it on, but imagine having two different cursors and you need to precisely line them up with opposing joysticks and thumbs. It sounds simple, but your brain just does not want to do it because it's used to, usually left stick is walking, right stick is looking. This is your movement for both characters is tied to different sticks. So I thought it was great that Sony is rolling the dice on young, fresh developers right out of college. I mean, that's only a good thing for the industry. I mean, the fact that they took kids from Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh and then San Jose State out in California and kind of brought them in as interns and said, you know what, fuck it. You guys are now developers. This is your game. You work for Sony. So I thought that was cool. I'll be doing an interview with their creative director, Dominic, again. He used to work at LucasArts. He was the creative director on Star Wars 1313, which we all know kind of got canned because of the Disney purchase. So that's Entwined. The other big one, and this game, it's very polarizing, I feel already, and that's The Order 1886.
Or Gears of War 1886.
It is, and that may or may not be a bad thing for some people. Me, I love Gears of War. I love that gameplay that Cliffy invented of the pop and cover, basically stick to cover, pop up, shoot, move to the next section, repeat. Yeah, it's not very innovative, but I like that style of gameplay. I mean, I know where my enemies are. I know where my goal is. But anyways, it's looked fantastic. It still looks fantastic. In game, it looks fantastic. Kind of like I said earlier, all these games look fantastic now. I mean, in 2015 especially, we're finally going to be seeing games on the One and the PS4 that go, oh yeah, that's why I spent all that money to get a new console. So first things first, The Order looks fantastic. Gameplay-wise, it's dead on to Gears of War. Instead of using one button for cover and to get out of cover, they actually use two. So one gets you in, one gets you out. It's a little more cinematic in presentation as far as the camera angles you get. The weapons, obviously, are kind of trippy because this whole game, again, is taking place in a neo-Victorian London where you have these people that form the Order. And if you think back to King Arthur, that's kind of what they're doing.
Like the Knights of the Round Table type of thing?
Exactly.
Galahad,
and they take
one of the characters.
No, they do.
Yeah.
They take on the character names because these people can live for hundreds of years. They drink this potion or whatever, and it keeps them alive. So there's the Order people. They're trying to stop rebels and the half-breeds, which are humans that, to me, they kind of look like a zombie werewolf, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, so that's kind of the gist of the world. So the world obviously is unique, and the weapon I got to use with Galahad was this. It would shoot thermite, which I believe is some sort of flammable liquid or whatnot. So with one trigger pull, I'd cover an area in thermite, and then the other trigger I would shoot an ignition source, and it would just fuck all sorts of shit up. So I like the weapons, and I do like the pop and cover gameplay. So I actually have fairly high hopes for The Order when it comes out.
For me, it's going to be a game that I will let everybody else play first. Sit back, see what they think.
Yeah, and then
see what they
sit
make
back
of it,
and see. Yeah,
possibly pick it up in a bargain bin.
Yeah, it felt very, very similar to Gears of War 1. Gears of War 1, Great game, but it was.
Do you not get the feeling?
Shoot him up in this quarter, move. Shoot him up in this quarter, move. Shoot him up in this quarter, move. I mean, that's kind of what the order felt like to me. At least,
do you not get the feeling that they are going for a kind of visual powerhouse rather than pushing boundaries, gameplay wise, mechanics wise? Because that's what I get. This whole kind of locking it to a certain aspect ratio, a really weird aspect ratio. I mean, it's like I don't want to play a fucking I'm getting sick of like games wanting to be films. I mean, if they stuck Kevin Spacey in the fucking order, that is it. I quit games forever. I wouldn't be coming back. But they're
6 degrees from Kevin Spacey. I never know. Maybe his cousin's in it.
Don't even go there, man, because like, okay, fair enough. I can understand the whole Kevin Spacey thing. Yes, I understand, he's an actor, yada, yada, yada. But this whole aspect ratio thing and then turning around and going, yeah, we want it to play like a movie. It's like, yeah, but it's not a fucking movie. This is a game.
Go make a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, go make it. Exactly, Ray. Go make a goddamn movie.
And I agree with that to an extent. I mean, I guess it just depends what the project is for me to be like excited about an actor being attached to it. But a lot of the times you see these trailers, you see these previews, and they want it to be all cinematic. And when you get down to playing it, it doesn't play out that way. And it's, and I feel duped sometimes because I buy into, wow, this epic story. It looks so good. It looks so great. And then when you get to playing it, you're like, they really just wanted to hook, line, and sink you into spending $60 and it's shit. Like, I've just spent my money.
Murdered Soul Suspect.
Oh, I red boxed that. I spent $2 on a rental. I played it for 3 hours and I was done.
Well, first of all, that's brilliant. I've never even thought of that for questionable game releases. But going back to the order, the shame of it is that that's a game I don't think it's going to play well. I think it's the world of it looks so interesting to me, and like visually, you'd be, you're stupid if you don't think it looks tremendous. In that fast at the very least. And that's why I think I would end up buying that the day it came out, because since was it last E3 they announced it?
Yes,
or maybe slightly before that.
I think it was slightly before.
It's just the game has been like so mysterious to me, and I love the whole Knights of the Round Table thing, that at this point I know it's not going to be a good game as far as I'm concerned, but I definitely am going to have to buy it.
Yeah, I've played. I can tell you right now, the gameplay is solid if you like pop and cover
and
games.
I don't. That's the problem. What is wrong? Like, I know I don't like that kind of stuff, but I'm still like,
there's nothing wrong with you. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
how it is. It's like you guys don't like cinematic or story-based games.
But I do. If the game's poorly written, it's
the
like,
actors.
I'd rather a game be
it's not that
a
either.
great story than anything else. It's just
I don't care about the act. Not that I want to
For
get on
me,
that
as long as a
tangent
game's
again.
a game.
I mean, actors are
That's what
actors.
matters. Like,
Right.
I don't
Right.
mind cinematic storytelling. Like, my favorite game of the last generation is The Last of Us. I think it was the pinnacle of a lot of what games have been trying to achieve. And it's still a game. It's still a great game. It could be better. There's always ways to improve something. Yes, it was a bit linear in aspects, but when it came to storytelling, when it came to cinematics, when it came to character development,
What if Joel was played by Mel Gibson?
then it would just be a complete fucking... I'd be
So
disgusted.
if it's the exact same game, except the character model looked like Mel Gibson with a beard, because that's kind of what Joel looks like, you would...
I probably
you
wouldn't
wouldn't
have
touch
touched it,
it.
no. Because...
Well, Mel Gibson's a bad example because
He's kind of crazy. He's kind of kooky.
Yeah, I mean he's a anti-Semite nut job, but
Yeah, no, I'd have probably...
whatever. Like I said, I don't want to get on the whole actors and games.
The only game that I've actually played that has actors where they use their likeness is LA Noire. And because they're all, they're not well known to, well, not to me anyway, I never thought anything of it. But the moment they're going to start putting well-known faces in games, it's like, you're just a corporate, you're a face to sell something to me, and I'm not fucking interested in that. I want a decent game to sell itself to me, rather than stick some fucking Hollywood actor, or not necessarily Hollywood.
Right.
But some
I
A-list
would never
fucking
buy a
celebrity
game
in there.
just because.
Right.
Okay, let's clear this up. I'd never buy a game because Kevin Spacey's in it. I don't have a problem that actors are playing video game characters, is what I'm saying. I
can understand that, but look how much
the game plays well.
Look how much media attention came about because Kevin Spacey's in Call of Duty. Oh my God, Kevin fucking Spacey. It's like, yeah. Kevin.
Mission accomplished, right? Whatever white guy in a suit in the boardroom said, hey, let's get Kevin.
Yeah, they got everyone talking about the game. Free
there
press.
You go.
That's my point, and that's why I'm like, no, I'm going to shun that game. I mean, it's Call of Duty, so I'd have fucking shunned it anyway. But it, like you say, to bring up The Last of Us. If The Last of Us was Kevin Spacey, right, and it's not because I hate Kevin Spacey. I like Kevin Spacey. He's a great actor. That's not in question here. It's like you say, some guy in a suit who's decided we're going to use this, this guy's talent and face that most people recognize and their pedigree to sell games. And I just totally disagree with that. I just think that games don't need that. They don't need it. And The Last of Us proves it. Or, even
BioShock Infinite.
Yeah, BioShock, like if you're going to make a story, a game that's based on a really good story that, has to be told in a very specific way or a very beautiful and dynamic way, like in BioShock and The Last of Us, then it can be done. It doesn't need a front man, so to speak. It doesn't need a face to go with it. That's the whole beauty of games, is that they can
I completely agree. I just
anything.
my point is I don't think you should write off a game because it uses a Hollywood actor.
I think if it, like I said when I made the point about Keith Sutherland, if it's going to use a Hollywood actor for their talents, as though, like I said, the facial, I can't remember the name of it that they use, the technique.
It's
yeah,
mocap.
but it's a specific type of mocap, isn't it? It's very specific to the face. But anyway, yeah, if they're using that and their voice talent, then that's fair enough. But the moment that you fully render somebody in a fucking game, I mean, come on, it's just too much. That's encroaching on an area that should be left.
Well, bringing it back to the Order, it looks great. I mean, it looks fun, but it's a game that I'm really not excited about. Just when I see everything, I'm just gonna wait till it comes out, wait to see Matt's review, and then I'll go from there.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry.
Play it, and then just we can all send it to one another.
Right.
And
I'll
just take
take
turns.
one for
Pretty much. I'll just wait.
I think the only thing that's really kind of worrying for me is that there's going to be all these great story elements that are kind of linked together by really ropey shooting sections, and that to me isn't a game. It's just, I'd much prefer just to have all the cutscenes together, thank you very much, and skip out the game entirely and watch a film. A CGI film, that would do me. Because I think that's what it looks like to me. It looks like that they've gone for this very cinematic route with the aspect ratio, locking the frame rate, really ramping up the graphics to try and make it this.
All the games are going for this cinematic.
No.
Every game I saw looked immaculate. They're all detailed.
There's nothing wrong with having a detailed world. There's plenty of games that have a.
You're talking about locking a frame rate and keeping it at aspect ratio just to maintain it, which I think is inherently stupid. Now that consoles have this ability to actually be played or to be created with 1080p or anything like that resolution wise, why the hell would you intentionally mess with that?
I actually prefer 900p.
No way.
Oh.
No way.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't want to call you a moron right off the bat. I wasn't sure yet.
Well, honestly, the whole HD thing it's ridiculous. Anyways, I mean, it's 720 to 1080. Unless you get up and stare at the pixels, it's really not going to be that difference. The difference is the frame rate. That's where you can really get a different looking game. So anyways, let's get back to Sony. We kind of hit some of the games they're talking about.
Let's talk about, I was going to say Mortal Kombat or...
No, we're saving them for WB, but...
and Batman you're probably going to save for WB.
Yep, save them for WB.
Can't talk about Batman.
So we'll get into some of the Sony hardware they showed off. First, the PlayStation TV, a $99 unit, and it's essentially...
Do we need another streaming device? I mean, there's...
It's Apple TV.
Really.
It's Apple TV for Sony devices. What it is. You can... I played Diablo 3. Someone was streaming it from the show floor. I played it in the private booths where the press are at, and it was flawless. I mean, and on that network that's full of a bunch of people, I was impressed by it. But yeah, it is... I mean, there's... Device? I guess if you want to play games in another room and don't want to buy another console, yeah.
But I mean, really, it's what? Apple TV, Sony TV, Roku, Chromecast, like, really?
And they all do very specific, like, they all stick to their proprietary stuff, which is unfortunate. But for $100, I'm probably going to get the PlayStation TV, because why the hell not? It'd be nice to play my PS4 up in my bedroom. I mean,
yeah, that's
But,
that's a cool
but wouldn't
feature.
you use your Vita for that? Wouldn't you use Remote Play?
Yeah, nah,
Having a
see, but
Vita.
I want a controller, and I want a bigger
I'm
TV.
with Matt on
but
that,
yes, you could
definitely.
use the Vita for sure.
Definitely, I think.
Well, I mean,
They got that.
I'm just saying, because, you know, when PS4 was coming out, the big thing was Remote Play on Vita, and, like, I don't even use my Vita for Remote Play.
You know what?
It's
Throughout that
neat as
entire
hell, but
conference,
I've never used it.
They hardly touched on the Vita at all.
Which was good.
Which is
Just like the
which is
rest of the
sad,
year.
though.
Yeah. No, I don't
Sad,
think that's good at all. I think the Vita,
The Vita's a nice piece of
yeah,
hardware.
my girlfriend's got one. It's a great bit of kit.
They've shit the bed with it. I mean, they just can't get games out for it that people need to buy the unit to play.
I can't play on it because I get motion sickness from it. I don't know why, but I get motion sickness from it, so I can't ever
You're
play my
doing it
I've
Vita.
been playing FFX HD on it, and I love the Vita, and it is sad that it's probably just going to be like the PSP and just kind of disappear.
They've discontinued supporting that now, haven't they? PSP.
Yeah. So, anyways, other hardware. Obviously, Project Morpheus. I got to strap that bitch on my head. I have a very unflattering picture of myself sitting
No,
down in the
you
beanbag
look
chair with
fantastic. The angle was great.
my guts all rolled up because my shirt's way
That's
too
after
tight.
you walked
but-
out of the booth, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just how I roll. I go with schmediums all the way. But anyways, the first game I played, and I hope this becomes a game. I'm not shitting you. Or at least, you know, like when the Wii came out, they gave you kind of like a tech demo disc to get used to the gimmick of the Wiimote. But Street Luge was fucking radical because, again, they had you sit down, so you already kind of felt like you were laying down. And then when you strap the headset on and you see like your body laying on the street, and it was awesome. I mean, this is what VR should be for. So I'm laying in this digital street. I'm on a street luge board, and I just start going. And the guy's like, all you do to turn is just slowly tilt your head. He said, if you draft behind people, you can go faster. You can even slide under semis to get a turbo boost. And just playing it.
Can you just repeat that? Slide under semis.
Yeah, like if a semi's in the street and you
What's a
weave
semi? Because
Like an 18-wheeler.
in the UK means
an
something.
18-wheeler, do you guys have
I think I know what you were thinking there.
A semi is it's like half an erection. Like,
Honestly,
in the UK.
I don't think you guys probably do have tractor trailer 18-wheelers.
We don't have 18. We don't have the 18 wheel.
Okay, but
Oh,
anyways,
we might do, but
it's a huge
Yeah.
fucking truck, all right? So you can
Big ass
slide
truck.
underneath its body, you know, like you're going underneath the wheel frames and then you shoot out in front of it and you catch another speed boost. And by the way, according to the presenter, and there was two of them, so he wasn't just blowing smoke up my ass, I ran the fastest demo of Street Luge at E3.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's
Thank
your
you.
legacy.
Thank you. No, he was like, honestly, dude, for someone that never played it before.
okay. So
we're
come on,
impressed,
tell me about
so.
the tech then. How did it look in comparison to the Rift?
I honestly feel like it looks clearer than what I've seen with the Oculus Rift, but it's not like it's HD.
No, it's still so Morpheus is sub HD then.
Yes. The device itself, it felt no different than wearing a hat on your head. I mean, I didn't really
Did you know
notice
with
any
this,
sort of
if
weight.
the kit, the Morpheus kit that you put on, is that going to be the retail kit, or are they still making changes?
I doubt it. I mean, dude, it's tough because it looks like it's a finished product. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
We all know it's not going to be called Project Morpheus. I mean, that's
Going to be
like
Project Neo.
Yeah, there you go. The Kinect years ago was Project something for a while, and then became the Kinect. But
Project Natal.
yeah, there you go. So the headset felt good. It actually felt a little lighter than the Oculus Rift to me. Visuals spot on that Oculus, if not slightly more clear. The games, like I said, Street Luge, I thought it was awesome. I mean, you really did feel like you were flying down a street, and a couple times I was like, oh shit, you know, when I got close to a car, because you're there. I mean, you're virtually riding on a Street Luge board. I also played Eve Valkyrie, which is a little bit different. I had to use a controller with this one because the only thing your head tracks is you can look around the cockpit, which is neat. And then when you fire missiles, you can use your head to control the missile targeting reticle. That game, as soon as I shot out and I was flying around in space, I definitely felt a little motion sick for probably the first 2 minutes till I got used to it. Because the AI literally just kept doing circles around me, and I had to just keep following them. And I guess that's a good sign when you start to feel motion sick.
If the illusion's that.
Yeah, so it is working. The whole virtual thing is definitely working. I just don't know how many people want to feel like they're going to vomit playing games. And also, I didn't get to play one. My buddy did, and it was one where it used the two light up ice cream cone dildo devices that the PS4 can use.
The Move controller.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot about those.
Yeah, dude. Now. You can use them with the Morpheus.
Think hard about what you were talking about.
and like these allow you to kind of bring your arms into the virtual space. So it would like, you could do, pretend like you're shooting a bow and arrow.
Well, it was like on Jimmy Fallon when they did the first like demo and they were doing this medieval thing, but
yeah, that was the demo right there, that same one. So verdict still out in the Morpheus. Definitely interested. Wasn't turned off by it. Really enjoyed just the tech demos. I mean, they're not even games. Eve, more of a game. Street Luge, literally is just a demo. I thought it was fun. The last bit of hardware from Sony, and it's not new, but it's newly awesome, and that's the white PS4. Holy hell.
It looks gorgeous. Those pictures look beautiful. I mean,
up close and personal, it is a sexy ass piece of technology.
It looked gorgeous. It really did.
And I'm definitely getting the urban camo PS4 controller.
Yeah, no, I'm all over that urban camo controller.
So those of you that have not bought a PS4 yet and you're interested in Destiny, I highly recommend snagging that bundle.
Just remember, Matt, when you're playing on the PS4 and it's a game that's going to upset you, use the black controller and don't use the camo. Don't break it.
True. Yeah.
No, use the camo. Use the camo, because if you break it, like you won't break it.
I won't see it, right? Because I'm in an urban setting and it has
Well, it's not just
camo.
that, but you won't break it. You'll think.
You never know.
Guys, I've gotten a lot better. I mean, I've had the new consoles for almost, 3 or 4 months, and I haven't broken either controller.
I want to know, is there a room at E3, like a rage room, like a padded room, where if you get pissed off with whatever you're playing, you can just go, you get sent to the padded room.
I could see PAX having a room like that, but E3 is definitely a little bit different type of a show. I mean, you're not getting the just regular hardcore gamers in there freaking out over stuff.
Every press conference I watched, like every time they announced something, people were whooping and hollering. I'm like, you're fucking games media. For God's sake, get a grip.
But trust me, there's a lot more than media. I talked to a gentleman from Canada who paid $800 to get a pass. He made up bullshit. He didn't have a media badge, but it basically said he was with something Games Canada, and he got in. I mean, he got in this. I met him. He was at the Homefront closed doors demo with Deep Silver.
You should have reported him.
He saw. Here's why I didn't report him.
Home.
He saw my badge. He's like, "Oh, dude, Entertainment Buddha. I know you guys. I see you all the time on N4G."
Oh no, I didn't mean that at all. I mean, you should have bought a beer, obviously.
There you go. Right. So, do we have anything else from Sony?
Uncharted.
No. Oh,
yeah, well, you had the old Uncharted 4 tease, which I'm all for. I've liked the Uncharted games. I think Drake's an interesting character. They're fun games. Naughty Dog, if it exists, when Uncharted 4 comes out, they usually do a good job, but half that damn studio's left anyway.
They've gone on record as to say this is probably the last Uncharted game, which is probably a good thing.
And I think it's why they probably lost all the big talent. I think they're like, fuck, we don't want to make another Uncharted. We don't want to redo The Last of Us for the PS4. We want to make something new. So I think that's why like Amy Hennig and them bailed.
Well, they've said, haven't they? They've said that they're working on a new IP.
They just, I mean, these guys, you got to remember, the developers are artists, and they're kind of odd people, because to be able to program and develop, you have to be.
No, I totally get it, because like that'd be like if I was to become famous because of one of my songs, and that was it. That would really piss me off for the rest of my life. I would only be known as that one song guy.
So they they definitely want to flex that creative muscle.
Yeah,
so,
and that's fair enough. Same with Bungie, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
with Destiny.
Yeah, we'll get into them when we get to Activision next
The other
time.
thing that Sony did talk about was Grand Theft Auto 5 coming to PS4. I mean, it's coming to Xbox One, but how
many people went on the how many people went on the net to go, is it coming to Xbox One? Is it coming to PC?
well, not that, but how you can transfer your online content, which is a pretty big move for it going to like PS4. So like anyone who's like been a devoted like Xbox fan, or maybe they're really into playing Grand Theft Auto, but it's almost kind of like a smart move where your gameplay, whatever, you want to play the game, move. But the fact that you can transfer your online profile to the PS4 from your Xbox console.
I know the account executive at Sony that worked that deal with Rockstar, and before going in, he's like,
that's huge.
There's a big announcement coming from one of my clients. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And sure enough, that's what it was.
That's huge. I said that there'd be an announcement.
For right now, it is going to be a PS4 exclusive feature where you can bring over your multiplayer save and all your bullshit. Yeah. So that's just going to be the PS4 for now. But like
I read that it was going to be...
no, just PS4. Mm-hmm. It's the only one that lets you bring your save over.
Yeah, I mean...
Wow, that's a pretty big thing.
Well, they're getting like Microsoft with timed exclusives and DLC. I mean, they're doing it with Destiny.
And they're doing it with...
As lame as we think it is, it pays off for Microsoft with Call of Duty. I mean, hardcore Call of Duty people want the DLC first, so they're probably going to get it for the one. Destiny will probably spawn the same thing.
And with Batman Arkham Knight, if you get it for PS4, you get the Scarecrow mission. So, it's all about exclusivity and... all that good.
Do you know what? What's quite funny is that what was the opening game for Microsoft's presser?
Wasn't it Call of Duty?
I think it was Advanced.
I think it was Advanced Warfare.
Oh no, it was something else. It wasn't. Can't remember what it was, but it's a game that's traditionally kind of aligned with Sony. What the hell was it? But anyway, Microsoft opened with a game that's kind of traditionally aligned with Sony, or you kind of think is aligned with Sony, and Sony opened with Bungie, a company that are traditionally aligned with Microsoft. Yeah. Did you not anyone notice that?
Yeah, they're trading this generation. They're just swapping.
Sony also tried to get in a few punches with EA as well. I noticed that, which was quite strange. I can't remember.
That's what I mean. Dude, by the time the Sony show goes off, even those guys, they're just like, we know everything, so we're just going to start fucking peppering people.
Yeah,
although I could read the teleprompter, and they pretty much stick to script, though, so it's all pre-planned.
Yeah, see, I don't like that. I don't see what... I can understand them having a little dig at Microsoft, because obviously they're rivals, but having a dig at your own, like at publishers and developers seems a little bit... odd for Sony to do.
Well, to be fair, the EA presser was full of smoke, like legit.
Yeah, that one I did not enjoy watching at all because.
Did you guys see me in the Peter Moore selfie?
I did.
Yeah.
That was awesome. It was like being at the Oscars for geeks. All right, so just to kind of move part one along, I think we hit Microsoft pretty well. I think we hit Sony pretty well. So we've got the last piece of the big three puzzle, and that's our lowly friend Nintendo, who once again opted to not hold a press conference. I watched the Nintendo press conference from my hotel room bed on a phone.
Yeah, but you can say the lowly Nintendo, but they probably had the most to show off.
They did.
By far.
Like what?
Like all of the games they were showing off, whether you like them or not.
Toad,
they had the most games.
Yeah, Toad is getting a game. Yoshi's Yarn World, which is like Kirby or Yoshi's Woolly
World.
Yeah, Woolly World.
Or something like that.
The Amiibos.
Splatoon.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm not shitting on Nintendo, Raymond. I
don't even like Nintendo.
They're just the way they handle their business these days. It's just odd. They're basically like, "Yo, if you loved us 20 years ago, you're still gonna love us. If you weren't around 20 years ago, it's like when you were around 20 years ago. If you weren't around 20 years ago, fuck you. This is what we do. You either like it or you don't."
I don't even know the name of the game with Toad in. I don't give a fuck. It's Toad, for God's sake. Who gives a shit?
Captain Toad Treasure Hunter.
Yeah.
Kirby, don't give a shit about. Sorry, it's done. Yoshi, don't give a shit about. Done. Zelda, give a shit about. Great game, keep it going. What else was there?
Well, no, you obviously have the new Zelda coming, but the one that Ray mentioned that really stood out to me, and I thought it was a unique game to have on a Nintendo platform, and that was Splatoon.
Yeah.
And it
that's
just looked,
probably the
like
only
a
one that
really cool
really-
multiplayer game where you got to spray your paint down, and you can move fast in your own paint. Enemies move slow in your paint. You can turn into a squid and swim in your paint. It just didn't seem like a traditional Nintendo title, so I guess that's kind of refreshing.
That's probably why it was so. Yeah, probably.
That's why it stood
intriguing.
out.
Well, and then Bayonetta 2.
Yeah.
Well, they've been talking about that for.
Yeah, and I finally got some like footage and everything. My God, it looks great.
I played it last year at the show. I loved it, but you haven't heard anything about it.
Ray definitely cried after that one.
Yeah, because I was staring at Bay. I was just been like,
isn't her whole her suit is her hair, right? Like she uses her hair.
Yeah, her hair
clothes.
is her everything more or less. But I saw that they're doing some Nintendo like IP exclusive costumes for her, which is kind of cool. I think there's a Link one from Zelda and everything.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on what Anna said and the what were those, Anna? The
amiibos that you put them on the pad and it's
hell.
They're like Skylanders.
Yeah, it's like Skylanders. I mean, but I mean
for Super Smash Bros.
Well, the good thing is like you don't have to leave it on the gamepad. You could just put it over. I guess it's where that little rectangle is on the Wii.
It's like
on the
I know what you're talking about.
Nintendo can get to fuck with that as far as I'm concerned.
My only thing with the Nintendo is that there's still so much potential with the Wii U that they just need to get with the times and.
It's like I said,
but they don't want to.
A few podcasts are back. Like I love Nintendo because they have a special place in my kind of gaming history.
Yeah.
But part of me wishes that they'd go fucking bust on the console side of things and just make goddamn games.
Yeah.
I just wish that they'd do that. And yeah, all right, okay, they had some interesting stuff with the original Wii, but the Wii U's just a fucking iPad with a console, and second screen just blew that. And
well, let me make a comment on the second screen thing. Now that I've been playing the Wii U again for the first time.
Because of Mario Kart.
I can tell you right now, Wii U has the best implementation of second screen
because
it's built to the
dedicated hardware.
Yeah, I mean that actually is useful on for Mario Kart 8 at least, but other games that's ceases.
The only reason why I think second
itself.
screen hasn't taken off on say like iPad on the iPad. Other tablets are available, of course.
It takes you out of the experience. I don't like them. I do not. I haven't liked the second
to me, it's because they've not been developed with with a real game with a game in mind. Like I tried a little bit with the Assassin's Creed one, and that was quite handy. Like I'd leave Assassin's Creed, and I'd be able to check on the ship missions.
Your fleet.
So that was fantastic. Yeah, because the ship part. Let's be real. That was AC4.
Yeah. So that was really cool, and I really enjoyed that. Battlefield 4 you can use it as a map, and you can also
commander mode.
Commander mode, yeah. So there are these kind of interesting options available, but because they're not forced on you, I don't use them.
Yeah, me
because
neither.
They're not forced on me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the difference. Like you said that after playing, using the Wii U and having the controller when you were playing Mario Kart, because it's forced on you, because you have to have it there in front of you, it probably does feel great. It probably does make sense.
Well, I could use just a regular controller or Wii Mote. I just choose to use the gamepad because I like being able to see the like one of the screens you can see is the track and where people are at.
If you use the regular controller
and
got rid of the Wii controller or whatever it's called, I don't know, the gamepad.
The gamepad.
Yeah. Do you lose any game, so to speak? Are you at a disadvantage?
I said, the only thing you wouldn't see is the racetrack where people are at. You know how like their heads would float on the racetrack to let you know, like, oh shit, Mario's behind me, or that's about it.
So that's
or a horn
that's
button.
Annoying, but that is quite annoying that you'd lose that. But to me, that just proves my point. It's just that. But
it may be on the screen anyways. I really haven't paid attention. It could be on the screen. So.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the Wii U. This whole controller, it's just an iPad with a fucking controller stitched on the sides of it, as far as I'm concerned. And that's not an innovation. And I think Nintendo were unfortunate that they thought it was a really cool thing to do, and then
everyone followed suit. I mean,
you know,
Nintendo, if they do one thing, they can set trends, because as soon as they did motion controls, the other two did it. As soon as they did second screen, the other two did it, which makes no sense because the other two are actually making money in gaming and Nintendo isn't. So whatever.
They made a shitload of money with the Wii, mate. The original Wii. Nintendo. This is why they haven't gone bust. Is because of the Wii. Once mums and dads up and down the country realised that they could use it as some kind of fucking fitness aid.
Yeah, I don't think Iwata's taken a paycheck either for like a couple years. It's so
Has
bad.
he not? No. But I'm pretty sure the guy's minted already, so it's not like he's starving.
Yeah. Hey, since we're on Nintendo, I just have to say I got so many new Miis on my 3DS. That's one of the best part of going to
the
these
Street Pass?
video game shows. Yeah, I now have Iwata. I have Reggie fills a mech, and I have another Nintendo dude. Like they're all special and they light up gold. But anyway, so to kind of wrap Nintendo, I mean, I knew this would be quick because it's Nintendo, and their press conference just befuddles me. It was more of a comedy show than showing off games. You know, it was like the Reggie doll doing stop motion stuff. But anyways, the last game that I actually thought looked cool as hell and definitely took me back to the 80s, and that's Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Where you sit there
That looks
and
fun.
basically create your own Mario
Got a
games.
PC, got an emulator, been doing that for years. Next.
Straightforward.
Yeah, well.
Halo. I mean,
Well, whatever.
It's a cool thing, but
It looked neat.
yeah. But it's nothing special, really.
So that's really it, people, for the big three. I mean, I'm not really ready to hand out grades yet. I would say, honestly, I think Microsoft and Sony are kind of right in line as far as their visions are going. Nintendo is in Nintendo land.
Yeah, Nintendo. They're not a sideshow, obviously. I think people that think that they are delusional. They are a force in the gaming world, no doubt.
I just
And
unlike
I have a
last
special
year.
place for Nintendo.
Yeah, I think most of us do that were born in the 80s or like Ray in the 90s. But
yeah, exactly. They were the console of choice for me. when I was
last year,
growing up.
I left E3, the Monday of E3, and I was like, Sony, hands down, won the show. This Monday, or this past Monday, I didn't really feel like either of the big boys really outshined the other. I think Microsoft has a couple more games coming out in 2014 than Sony does, but both of them, most of their great-looking games aren't coming out till next year anyways, so we're all going to have to wait till next winter. February is when a lot of these are going to start hitting.
I don't get this whole who won. I just don't buy into all that kind of like who won this and who won that, and it's just like I wish people would put their dicks away and stop swinging them around so much. It's just like who gives a shit? Just show me what I want to see.
Right.
Show me something that's
just what the media has to do, buddy. It gets clicks, I guess. So.
I will say though, this E3, and it might be, I mean, like, fair enough, you go there in person, you attend the conferences, so it's a much different atmosphere. But for me, sat at home, watching the conferences being streamed, I just felt that this year wasn't as spectacular. And that might be because obviously last year we had the big console reveals and there was all that excitement and all that buzz, plus obviously the PR blunders from Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean, nothing was like, oh, fuck.
Nothing really blew me away. I mean, like I said, No Man's Sky did, but that's a game I've already seen, so I can't really use that. There were a couple of games that made me sit up and look, but nothing that made me think, oh my God, I can't wait for this to come out. I cannot, I don't know. I don't know if anyone else felt that way or not.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't blown away by anything. I also wasn't disappointed with the show either. I think the industry's in good shape. I like where things are headed, but nothing made me go, that's going to be the game of the year.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want people to think that I hated this year's E3. I didn't at all. Far from it. A lot of good games. A lot of games that I'm genuinely like looking forward to playing, but nothing, there was nothing there that blew my socks off and made me want to play it immediately.
Yeah, I'll agree. Pretty similar to that, actually. There's a lot of stuff I'm excited about and I cannot wait to play, but there wasn't so much that I saw this year that was like, holy shit, stop the presses, play the trailer again. Like I need it this instant. With the exception of like Metal Gear Solid 5 trailer. That was like the highlight of the entire show
amazing
for me.
Yeah, that's I can't remember who it was. It's Mike Oldfield, isn't it? That tune. Stuck in my head for days.
Ray got it stuck in my head yesterday. Now you just got stuck in my head again because
it's great.
You can't help but not think about that song and immediately go back to when Snake is rubbing ashes, like someone's ashes on his face.
That's not ashes, you fool. That was Snake not knowing how to do cocaine. Come on.
Yeah, right.
So I was shouting it. I was like, Snake, you done it wrong. You snort it, mate. Up the nose, Snake.
He didn't bring his straw with him or his little keyboard. He got a little overzealous. Yeah, he got overzealous when they gave him a big jug of blow. He just like,
Snake snorter.
So anyways, guys, let's kind of wrap part 1 up of E3. I just thank everyone for listening. Again, I'm Matt Haywood. You can follow me on Twitter at Matt Haywood with a 3. I will be fixing that because I'm getting sick of hearing myself say that. There's also following the site at @Buddha. And I'll tell you what, right now we got all sorts of giveaways going on. We may be small, but we are big with the devs and publishers. So we have, if you're a fan of EB on Facebook and Twitter, you can enter to win a copy of Watch Dogs for the 360 or the PS3. So we have a copy for each of those systems. You can also enter to win a copy of Murdered Soul Suspect for the PS4. So make sure to check those out on the site. You can just do a search for giveaways, and you should be able to register real easily for those. It's not intrusive. If you're already on Facebook, you just have to like the page. If you're already on Twitter, you just have to follow the account. And then you can actually get stretch votes by following my dumb ass or our Google Plus page. So I guarantee you're not going to have a better chance of winning something on the internet than an entertainmentbuddha.com giveaway. So get your asses signed up and try to win one of those. So let's just say goodbye to everyone else. Benson's, anything you want to kind of leave off, plug before the next episode?
No, just like you said, reiterate, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, on YouTube. I'm starting to dip my feet into making
by the way,
videos.
Benson's is going to become our new video guy, people, because he really puts out some fantastic shit. You got to watch his Destiny Alpha. We have a mutual friend. I don't know if Benson's remembers him too well, Hank the Gank.
I remember Hank.
He's a very, very, he works in Hollywood. He's a stuntman. He works with Freddie Wong, the YouTube scene. So he's very critical of shit on YouTube. And he legitimately called me up to say, that Destiny video is the best created content on the EB YouTube channel yet. So,
wow.
That's high praise.
There you go, Benson. So, he really...
It's all downhill from here.
He really appreciated the detail you put into that. When I told him how much time you spent, he's like, well, yeah, it shows. So, and your combat, whatever the hell video still gets looks every day. So, Anytime Benson's can do a video for us, you will not be disappointed. So like you said, sub to our YouTube channel.
Is if people watch them, leave me a comment, give me some feedback, because I'm really new at this game. So any kind of constructive criticism.
He's a natural.
Just let me know. Let me know what you guys want to see, what you want to hear. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? I got a couple of comments on my first video, and I took that on board, and I tried to make the Destiny video better, and I hope that I'm constantly improving.
No, but, I think it paid off because not that our videos do well, but I believe it's upwards of 400 views at this point, and for a tiny site, yeah,
Jesus,
which isn't bad. I'm impressed with that.
Man, do you know what? That's really annoying because I've been making music for about 7 years. Right? I've got more.
Dude,
video
I'm
views.
telling you, man. I'm not saying to give up the music, but I really think if you got doing videos on a regular basis, you could create a following. There's no doubt. So.
Yeah.
Whenever your time opens up or whenever we get you games to check out, I think video is the way to go.
Definitely.
So let's go on to our clam, not to cut you off, but we've already...
Yeah, okay. I just want to say you can also follow me on Twitter at 10bensons to listen to me just post shite, basically.
We love shite.
Oh, yes.
All right, so Ray, you want anything to plug?
No plugs. I'm not going to plug anything because I think if you want to hear more from me, you have to keep coming back for our podcast so we get some more viewers.
Wow.
In your face, internet, in your face. How about you, Anna? Anything good to share?
You can follow me on Twitter at Febzilla. That's it. Stick around for the
you
next
probably
one.
know this. When does Falling Skies and Defiance come back to TV?
Fall, probably. I actually.
Well, there's summer shows. I don't know if I just figured you would have watched them. But they're
No.
great summer shows.
It's,
oh well.
I try to avoid picking up new stuff because it gets added to a backlog, like my games.
you.
So I'm just gonna stick to what I watch right now.
Fantastic. All right, well, that's it for part 1 of our EB's E3 recap. Hopefully you come back for part 2 where we're going to talk about the big pubs, which includes EA, Ubi, Activision, WB, Sega, Bethesda, 2K, Konami, Deep Silver, and if there's time, we may even talk about Astro, the headset legends. So once again, thanks for tuning in to the Budacast. I'm Matt Haywood, your host. We will see you on the flip side. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.